Toastmaster Janet.
Thank you. Now wearing a hat of an evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, kindly join me to welcome a beautiful woman. She's very enthusiastic. She joined Toastmasters recently. She's already leaping and leaping in doing her projects. She's very phenomenal. This woman is a counseling psychologist. She finds joy in youth mentorship. She is passionate about emotional intelligence and coaching. If you're seated next to her right now, she's just scanning each one of you. She can read your mind. All the way from Tamarind. She is taking the pathways of effective coaching. Today she'll be attempting her level 1 project. The purpose of her speech. She will learn to review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose, and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Toastmaster Hafidha. The title of her speech as she comes is Emotions or Emotional. She's going to unravel that just to debunk the myths around this topic. Toastmaster Hafidha, Emotions or Emotional?
Thank you for that heartwarming introduction, Her Excellency. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Good evening. My name is Hafidha, and the title of my speech is Emotions or Emotional. And that makes me wonder, have you ever been called emotional for simply expressing your feelings? By show of hands. I have no doubt that most of us have. Well, today, Toastmasters, I will clarify on the difference between these two terms, dismiss the myths surrounding them, and share tips on how to manage your emotions effectively. And that leads me directly to defining the terms. Emotions. These are natural responses to our feelings. And being emotional is the outward representation, the outward expression of those feelings. Now, anger is an emotion. Shouting in anger is being emotional. And this takes me to the myths around emotions and being emotional. Often when you're emotional, it's a sign of weakness. This one is weak. Why is it crying? That's the myth. When you're showing your emotions, when you communicate your emotions, you're a negative person, you're reading the Bible. Who wants this? And then often, being emotional is usually defined as wanting to cry. When you're speaking and your voice is breaking, oh, she's emotional. But that is not correct. I disagree with that, as any psychologist would. Because being emotional is actually natural and necessary when it comes to decision making. Toastmasters, from the example that I've given, shouting in anger, is that constructive? I bet not for most of us. I see you agree with me. It is not. So what are the effective ways of managing these emotions? Number one, I'll share a few, just two, is acknowledging those emotions, validating those emotions, being aware of those emotions. I am angry. Maybe now is not a good time to talk. So excuse me, Joe, I don't want to talk. Maybe now is not a good time. Or, I am emotional, I am angry, but Toastmaster job is not the reason why. So that stops me from projecting these emotions to me, this anger, shouting. way of managing these emotions effectively. Take you back to my definition of being emotional. It's the outward expression of your feelings. So they're visible, right? So how do you manage them effectively? You observe them, you observe the person. Look at the person next to you and try to observe their emotions. Look at your neighbor, let's look at our neighbors. What is the emotion? What is the emotion? Because often you see the emotions because they're being communicated. But you have to be attentive to get the correct emotion being communicated. Like I can see most of us looking a little bit restless. It's fine. Maybe a cup of Kericho gold tea is going to cheer you up. Isn't that better than shouting? Well, Toastmasters, from what I have explained to you, emotions and being emotional is actually a very powerful tool to living a constructive life, a balanced one, and an authentic one for that matter. Don't you agree with me?
Yes.
Showing your emotions constructively. Imagine now you're the boss and your subordinate comes to you, Angie. But then you want to act sanctimonious, you don't want to understand. You don't want to understand that they're human too. So you dismiss them. That is the wrong approach. How about empathetically understanding them? Because you experience these emotions. Personally, before I was this self-aware, I used to check people around me. I used to be one of the stereotypes who would